Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. So, August is coming, and the heat is coming with it. If you don't know what's happening in August, I have mentioned it here on this channel before. And what is happening in August is going to be the BRICS Summit. And why is this important? I've talked about it on this channel before, and yeah, but things are heating up even more. As of now, the number of countries that have signed up to attend the BRICS summit and are interested in joining the BRICS alliance is now 41. Only a matter of weeks ago, that number was 19. So it has more than doubled. Uh, and we're not there yet. We've still got a month to go. There can still be more countries that can sign up for this summit that can express interest in just that period of time. And so some people are, a lot of people are claiming, oh, well, this will take years to be any threat to the dollar and, all this kind of stuff. But the way this is expanding, the rate at which this is expanding now is changing that picture. And this is something that I have been saying this is a threat, at present. The current members of BRICS already account for more global GDP than the G7. So you add 19, anywhere from 19 to 41 more countries. And you're talking a whole different scenario here. Now, why have so many more countries decided to sign on to this? One good part of that is because Saudi Arabia has announced that they will invest in the BRICS Development Bank. That is a huge development. If the BRICS Development Bank, funded by multiple entities, China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, they are investing in development, and now India as well. India the Indian foreign minister just went to Tanzania, and India already invests in South Africa, and he made it clear that their investments are not. He criticized the Western form of so-called investment in these countries. He said that their investment is not extractive. They're investing in things like energy systems, water systems, and the technology that will it will give India a return monetarily, but it's not extracting resources from the country. It creates jobs, it improves the living conditions. So, this is different from the West that invests in mining and oil, so forth and so on. And none of the BRICS countries are militarily occupying these countries. I've pointed out in many videos that the United States has got a military presence in 50 of 54 African nations. So, and what are they doing there? We never hear anything about what they're doing there, except for bombing Somalia, the poorest country on earth, So this is big. This is big. Now, I'm sure that these countries also want to hear about things like the terms of the BRICS Development Bank as opposed to the IMF, that is notorious for loaning money out, but then when to countries that they know will not be able to pay back the debt, and then when they can't pay back the debt, they impose austerity measures. Look at what they did to Greece. And they impose requirements like privatizing, national assets and systems, pension plans, strip them, cut off pension plans, or privatize them. The universal health care systems, privatize it, so that you wind up with, and these are in countries that are in severe poverty, so the people have basically no income, but you want to make them pay for medical care. So they can't afford the medical care, so people die. So these countries are looking for alternatives, viable alternatives. And then there are the stated values of the BRICS alliance, which include sovereignty. You look at how the West imposes values, Western values. Now, I'm going to say, for the most, I agree with a lot of Western values, but except for forcing the privatization of systems that are meant to help people. But, gay rights, transgender rights, things like this, I'm in favor of this. But you cannot force this on other countries. Any change in societal values is always going to meet with resistance. If you force this on other countries, even if it happens organically, domestically, it's going to meet with resistance. You look at our own history with giving women the right to vote, the civil rights movement. I've lived through women burning their bras. I've lived through, the civil rights era in the 60s. Just one thing after another, and we're still not there. Look, a lot of the things that I see happening right now in the United States, transgender, I have no problem if a man wants to wear a dress. Okay, fine, that's your choice. I find no different, and then we're fighting about where they can use the bathroom. All right, 100 years ago, less, there was this battle about whether women could wear pants. And then if they wore pants, they weren't allowed to teach. Oh, well, now look at what's happening today with men, transgender men wearing dresses and not allowed to teach, not allowed to read to children in libraries. 100 years ago, the same arguments were being made about women's rights. And I'm pretty darn sure that when women were fighting for the right to wear pants, there was a big debate about where they could use the bathroom. Where are we at today? Full circle. There we are. But we're going to dictate rights to other countries. Well, the BRICS Alliance is saying, No, we have respect for your sovereignty. Yeah. Under the SWIFT system, countries are being told that, you know, okay, if you don't adopt these particular values, these particular laws, we won't loan you money. We won't invest in your country. We will sanction you. We will crush your economy and starve your people to death. And the BRICS system is not doing that. So it's a big difference here. Um, it's about a lot more than economics. Uh, I'm very much in favor of human rights, but if changes are going to be made within a country, then it needs to be, it has to happen domestically. What you also see happening is that if you impose these changes by laws, and a country is suffering economically, or you impose sanctions, then the people that are in favor of their traditional values are going to turn around to the people that are already oppressed and say, this is your fault, and they're going to come under more attack than they are right now. All right, economically, I've already talked about sanctions, but let's face the fact that the Swiss system is unstable. The Swiss system depends entirely on the U.S. dollar. So does the World Bank, the IMF. All of this depends on the U.S. dollar. And yet, look how stable we are right now. The United States is at $32.3 trillion in debt. And if you look down here, where am I at? Okay, down here, the total interest on that has been paid on the U.S. debt is approaching $4 trillion. $4 trillion out of over $32 trillion. That's a lot of interest. So actual spending, you strip that away. That just goes to, investors. All right. So $4 trillion that we have paid that we get nothing back for. So these things are big changes. We have the trade war going on, sanctions on Russia. You look at the difference between when Macron went to China. He was pretty much ridiculed, but he did walk away with billions of dollars in trade deals. Right now, Janet Yellen just went to China, and she was, even though we're limiting access to Chinese access to technology, and we're putting tariffs and sanctions on China and threatening China over Taiwan, she says, we don't want to decouple, we want to diversify. What does that mean? Okay, if you want to diversify, fine. You diversify, but you don't put limits on another country's ability for growth. So look at some of the results of this. And on my presidential channel yesterday, I put out a video on how China is responding to the technological sanctions that are being placed on China. Well, China decided that they're not going to buy Micron chips. And if you look at Micron stock between the already existing sanctions and the state of the U.S. economy, the state of the European economy. Micron's stock has been declining and declining, and now China says that they will no longer import Micron chips. Micron is in Boise, Idaho. And this is while, Biden is saying that he wants to expand the production of U.S. microchips. Good job there, buddy. You're crushing Micron. So one of the few production companies of U.S. microchips. Who are you going to sell them to? Who are you going to sell them to? You're not going to sell them at this point to Saudi Arabia, Russia, China. Europe is in recession. Their economy is crashing, and they are becoming deindustrialized. They don't need your microchips. Now China has announced that they are going to limit the export of germanium and gallium, which are critical for the production of microchips. So they can very well say, we will not sell these minerals to the United States if it's going to be used for the production of microchips, or to Europe. Gallium is used in medicine, so they will probably export gallium for that purpose. But, if medical companies suddenly increase this, fairly rarely used element, and all of a sudden they increase their need for gallium by 400%, that's not going to happen, period. The Chinese are not that dumb. You would have to show immense evidence that that medical need has increased by 400%. So, within the next month, it's very possible that more countries will sign up for the BRICS alliance. Now, I'm going to point out that there's no limitation on countries actually trading in both the BRICS and the SWIFT system. But the more they trade within the BRICS system, which is probably going to start off somewhat slowly and then snowball as they see success in it, then the more that gets traded in the BRICS system, the more countries trade in rubles, yuan, the whatever currency, the Indian rupee, the more that they trade in their native currencies, or they develop a common BRICS currency, the more that will take away from the SWIFT system and destabilize the dollar more and more. So Saudi Arabia has said that they put a premium on, oil trade with China. That is their biggest customer. And they actually charge the United States more for oil than they charge Eastern countries. This is growing and growing. So this is a big development. Don't listen to the people that are downplaying it, because they're just cheerleading for the Western system. And we know how that works out. All right, share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can afford it, please donate whatever you can to help expand this channel and my presidential campaign. And I will catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a good day.